Oh, Zoom is recording. All right, let's get started. My man, Brandon Harris, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know it's early out there in Hawaii, and so I appreciate you coming on and sharing everything that you and Jawzrsize are up to today. So appreciate having you.
Hey, Roman, I appreciate the opportunity to share what we're on to with your following. I thank you for reaching out to us and for being a part of the Jawzrsize community.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to dive in. And so for everyone who doesn't know who you and Jawzrsize are, give us a brief introduction of who you are and what you're up to.
Okay, I'm born and raised in Fairbanks, Alaska. I grew up a strong wrestler. The state finals of my senior year, I broke my ankle in the first 3 seconds, 5 seconds. I ended up losing by a few points. And at that point, my wrestling scholarship kind of got put on the back burner. And that's when I decided that my wrestling background was really good for ground and pound with the minimal amount of kickboxing I had in my background. I combined the two and became a very hard hitter out of Fairbanks, Alaska. I went 10-2 professionally. I held a light heavyweight belt. It's one of 2 belts in Alaska for going on must have been 5+ years. Defended it 5+ times.
Wow.
I was first round type of guy, knock him out.
I love that.
Or submit. Well, long story short, I always used to train my jaw previous to battle by working the biting motion. So I had some nylon type shapes that I made basically a homemade prototype that kind of insinuates the same biting motion that the Jawzrsize does, but not as refined as it is these days. Something about the stronger my bite got, the stronger my neck got, the more aligned it felt like my face was. And my theory was, hey, if I have to have a mouthpiece in my mouth for a number of rounds, I want to have strong and I want to have good endurance in my facial muscles. So not only can I have a tight grip on my mouthpiece so you don't slip, but also I'm picturing the reinforcement of the muscles. As you can see, your master is pound for pound the strongest in the human body. So
yeah,
if you're going to get punched in the face or you're going to get choked, or any type of full contact athlete really needs to think about head, neck, and jaw placement, alignment, and strength. I firsthand experienced what it was like to go from a light heavyweight champion to, the multiple injuries. The one, I don't know if you can see, but my jaw was broke all the way through.
Wow.
Was wired shut for a combination of 4 months. During the recovery, I wrecked my ZX10 on Oahu on the H1, split my skull all the way back, landed in an induced coma for some time. Came to, and I was at basically a 2nd grade level. It was like, didn't know who the president was, didn't know my middle name. I was all kinds of backwards. My vision was 50% gone. And I had just paid cash from, I went from a moped to a ZX1000, and I figured I would baby the thing, and my next paycheck I'd get a helmet. So I didn't even have a helmet on. I had never really rode in a crotch rocket before. I bought it pre-owned, and it had some slick dry rotted tires that I was new to Hawaii. I didn't realize how big of an issue dry rotted tires and stuff like that is, and rust out here. But long story short, leaving work on a rainy day, trying to do a little badass show off, just hit a white line, double jerked it, and I really goosed it, is what I can assume happened, because there's people who were who watched it happen. But and my pedal broke off, and I really lost control somewhere about 50 miles an hour.
Oof.
And I wake up, I don't know, bro. It must have been, I would say 13 days, because I'm not 100% sure. I didn't have family or anybody out there. And long story short, it was basically a year of me on this circular merry-go-round. It was like trying to remember what happened, cognitive functions, my train of thought, my short-term memory was completely demolished. And I started with some not voice lessons. What is it called? Speech therapy.
Yep.
And it was just too basic. You know what I'm saying? Like I was definitely beaten, but at the same point, I'm an athlete, and I like to push the limits. So when I seen the first session of this speech therapy, I was like, I went my own direction. I basically, down to Barnes and Noble, looking for puzzle books, how do I build my brain? I got, self-taught, brother. I got super big into Lumosity, cognitive functions, training game online. And today I use a game called Elevate, a little bit more, they're both great, for building just basic cognitive functions, which I believe are so crucial for, excuse me, but they're crucial for just anybody wanting to learn anything. You got to have control of your attention. You got to have control of your capacity to remember stuff. And then at the same time, you don't want to second guess yourself. You need to have definitive answers and be able to trust yourself. And if your cognitive functions are dusty and rusty, you're not going to be as dialed in as you need to be.
Yeah. Oh man, you covered a lot in there. And so let's go back and kind of break down a little bit, and then we'll start talking Jawzrsize. And so you started off as that wrestler. How was that transition into MMA? I know that you came with those hands and brought that wrestling. Were you more of a ground and pound guy, like a lot of wrestlers do going in, or?
I have a super hard right, which was always my strong go-to. It also cost me one or two fights because I come in with so much heat. We have two forces colliding at full strength. I mean, it can get dangerous. And it was my 11th fight. I took a last-minute fight in Alaska to fill in for somebody who was hurt, and I had already a fight that was 8 weeks out. Well, long story short, I don't know anything about this light heavyweight guy from Anchorage, Wasilla. We come out, and I just, I got my standard come in. I usually throw up a jab or something, but then I stutter step, and I always come with an overhand right. And I just rock people right out the gate so they can feel the power, whether they block and absorb. And long story short, that works for me 9 times out of 10. Well, this was the 10th time. He almost had the same move, and we collided forces with full power, and he caught me 1 inch before I caught him, bro. And I was convulsing on the ground for, I don't know, like 7-10 minutes, bro. My grandma was there, my whole family. Oof. And I got my feet curled back. I don't know if you've seen like a severe knockout, but it was.
You'll see the guys, they'll go straight like a board, and then their arms will kind of hit. And
bro, right in front of my hometown, too. Luckily,
it happens.
It was a stepping stone to my career, that's for sure. And I woke up in the bathroom, like, oh my God, what happened? And they're like, yep, what happened. And I was like, shit. So long story short, that just sort of was part of what. That's when I started going right. And started. That's when I was. That's when I came out to Hawaii on a vacation, basically. I was recovering from a jaw injury, and it was 57 below back home in Fairbanks, 87 degrees in Oahu.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, man, my friend had a couch for rent, and then I borrowed their moped and got a job, and a year later, I had myself a room and a ZX10, and I was making it happen. I just moved into a new badass place, bro, and put all my money down, and then find myself 10 steps backwards. They're saying, don't go to work, don't drive. It's illegal for you to drive until you can pass your vision test. And it's like, well, I spent all my cash let alone Honolulu is like, I don't know, one of the most expensive cities in the world to live in. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's the most, but it's right up there in the top 5 or 10. So I was back at my job within a matter of days of being released from the hospital. And
Wow.
just, some people, that's why I feel like I got a lot to give back to the traumatic brain injury community, let alone people who are injured, because people have it way, way, way worse than me. People have the same kind of trauma that I had. And then people have other traumas, and it's like the first thing you got to do is really get your mind in the right state of mind to think that you're gonna survive this and you're gonna come back better than you ever were before. And if you don't set that as your goal, I feel bad for people because you can get lost in the system of I don't know, regret, self-pity,
Yeah.
sorrow,
It's a
maybe
loop too.
taking advantage of opportunities that are presented through insurance type stuff. And I don't know, when I didn't have any of that to fall back on, all I knew was strap my boots up and get back on my moped and get back to making it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you were training MMA, you said that you were always biting on like the nylon and stuff too. Did someone mention that to you? One of your coaches mention about, or was this something that you kind of just discovered on your
oh,
own?
bro, it's so crazy. And I never really brought this up in any interviews before, but my older brother, Billy Jack Harris, he had a pit bull. We called him Kane. He was just the biggest, baddest, all white pit, but he had the meanest bite, and all he ever would do was gnaw on his Kong toy. You know what I'm saying? So we would take him out to the lake. We'd launch this Kong for 3 hours, bro. And this pit bull is full of muscle. He's not made for swimming, right? But as long as he can make it to that Kong and start the essential call, that gnawing motion, all of a sudden he got that primalness back and he makes it back in, every time until this guy's about to drown. It's like, all right, we can't play this anymore with him. But then I'd sit there and watch his master, and we'd hang stuff from the ceiling, let him rip on it.
Yeah.
And I just
see his body
yeah,
whipping
bro.
around, just all
I
neck.
see his neck engaging, and I'm like, I want something just like that. If I want to be the primalist of the cage or whatever I do in life and have supreme confidence in the bite, your strength, your primal bite, instinctually at birth, the first thing you know how to do is Jawzrsize on a breast for milk. You don't get taught that. And and then it goes to a man-made nipple, which is weak as hell, and then it goes to soft serve baby food. And then the first thing anybody's ever taught is don't put that in your mouth, don't bite. And it's like, well, what other insect, animal, anything in the world can you name that's alive that doesn't depend on the strength of its bite? It's a form of defense. It's a form of saliva generated for maybe some sort of gut health, metabolism. I don't know. It's all relative to, digestion starts in the mouth.
Wow. That's a crazy story. Because I know exactly what you mean, because I had friends in college that had pit bulls. They were always like getting them to jump higher. We would always take the rope, put it like a plank, and put it a little bit higher so that pit bull could run up and get it. And when they get that lockjaw too, there's no letting go.
Bro, I know, and that's what I wanted to simulate. It's like, why am I going to be a full contact athlete? And look at this engagement.
Yeah.
That largest neck muscle, let alone the fine or the temporalis lobe, when you sit there and hold those static clenches and the engagement of the neck muscles. If you're a full contact athlete, this is like a no brainer. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a football player and you're plowing through, helmets are great to protect the skull, but that's what you got a skull for, to protect the brain. But what protects the jaw from getting low, from you taking a shoulder pad and pinching off that nervous system and causing for concussions. You know, that's where, in my mind, a lot of concussions come from is the brute force hitting the jaw. And then if the connective tissue and everything, it's just like in a shoulder. If you don't have strong ligaments, connective tissues, muscles that work fibrously well together, you know, you're gonna blow your rotator cuff out. You're gonna dislocate your shoulder. It's the same theory. You know, I'm just taking it to the TMJ, to the temporomandibular joint, you know, that controls your whole nervous system. You know, it goes from the skull, the base of your brain through millions of nerves and through fascia that goes throughout your whole body. Like when I can feel all of this engaging, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So it's like pound for pound strongest muscle group in the human body. But also the diet that we have these days, the last 100 years, is supremely different than the last million years or however long humans have been around. That's a whole other conversation. But I know it's a hell of a lot longer than 1,000 years. And it's a hell of a lot longer than the blender has been around, or the knife, the fork and knife, the saute, tenderize my meat. You know what I'm saying? You weren't always getting Ruth Chris medium rare fillets. You know what I'm saying? You were biting, ripping, tearing that shit. You were activating your saliva glands. You were putting yourself in this primal state, which humans don't. I mean, we need that because that's part of us. You know, maybe not everybody's a primal. You know, maybe some people are a part of the new breed, the new generation, I guess. But the people that are find themselves biting their nails, bro, clenching their jaw, going like this. You know, you see that person in the airport, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chewing gum.
Doing this.
Wow. Yeah. The rounding motion.
Rounding motion, bro. I'm not a dentist, but talk to a TMJ specialist. You'll say the TMJ is designed to be worked in a direct hinge with minimal side-to-side movements. It's definitely not designed to be like a cow face with this much range of motion, let alone artificial flavors, chemicals, fake sugars. Like, what does that do for your gut health? I don't know. As opposed to, you know, this American-made, food-grade, medical-grade silicone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome stuff. Especially like coming from the MMA fighter. I mean, you see people get clipped down here. You see people get hit in the jaw and get knocked out. And you see them up here as well. But the jaw, I mean, even in like the old video games, like you'd see someone get hit and they'd be like, "Ooh,
bro."
That's
the 45. It's called the button, the spot. That's what you want to aim for if you want to take somebody out. And what that does is, right, and then your TMJ hits a nerve up there. I don't know the exact physiology on it. All I know is I've been there on both sides of it. I've done it. It's been done to me. I've felt exactly what it feels like multiple times, you know, at high levels, you know, from this one to this one to this one. I mean, I've been unconscious 8 times in my life, at least from a TBI. So,
yeah.
Can I say that I believe this has helped my concussion therapy tenfold? Like, it's something about the soothing, the relaxation, because that's what a lot of people's problems is your body is designed to manage itself, but it also red flags itself when you start you're in this fight or flight mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to I gotta be up by this time. I gotta have the kids to school. I gotta pick them up I gotta be home up from work. You know, it's go.
Yeah.
And it's leaving people with so much tension in their jaw. Like, people think a stress ball goes in your hand so you don't punch something. I mean, I get it, but I mean, I've never felt something so soothing, and it's something that people can't conceive until they try it. And then they're like, oh, 5 reps later, they're like, a light bulb goes off. Like, wait a sec. this makes 100% sense. I can't believe I even thought about making fun of this.
Yeah, it is, because it is interesting, because I mean I've seen just the regular, or like I wouldn't say the regular design, but I've seen the one that actually looks like a ball that people just have in their mouth and they're just chewing on a ball. I like this design on this. How did you come up with the design for this specific piece of equipment?
Well, bro, this is my original, right? And I just made something so similar to this out of nylon. Like I took them down to the jewelry shop, and I created something, a homemade prototype that was similar to this shape, that had and then I went in here and I used disc grinders, and I grinded out the spots where the EVA,
Yeah,
which is the molding stuff that's in mouthpieces. I went down to Sports
here.
Authority. There you go. Bought the there you go. That's the blue. That's my fave. One of my favorites.
Yep.
And it so grinding them out, I pulled the EVA out of mouthpieces from Sports Authority. I spent like my last $200 buying a couple mouthpieces to demolish them. And then I glued them in. Something so similar to this. And boiled it and fit it. And I was just like, boom, right then I knew. I was like, duh. This, because I've had this concept since I was 18 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I always, when I was a wrestler, I always wanted to know, why are people about injecting stuff in their face and not about exercising their muscles? There's no other group of muscles that we don't decide that, the first thing we don't think of is take care of them.
Yeah.
From your back, you got to take care of your back, your core, your whole everything. But no, everything can be covered by clothing. The one thing you can't is the symmetrical of your face, and let alone the definition of it. To be able to fight gravity. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. We're trying to reverse by exercising these muscles, just like you get a pump on your biceps, you get a pump on any muscle group you work. I mean, you see this.
Yeah.
And let alone, this is where I got to show. I don't, this is kind of a bad picture, but as you can see how imbalanced my face was. I'm still not 100% symmetrical. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I came a long ways, bro. Look at this, bro. There's me on my way to the hospital, Queens Medical Center here in Oahu.
That's
I don't know if
wild.
you can see that, bro. But
Oh yeah, loud and
that's
clear.
Where it really got. That's where it got me, bro. Here's me at 18, 19. Before cage fighting was big in Alaska, we did it in the gravel pits. Got my nipple and my ear bit off one night.
Oh wow.
Right there.
Dang.
Right there. Just 18. Maybe I was 19. I don't know. One of the two. But
yeah, after seeing that picture, I can see the light heavyweight a little bit in you.
Yeah, bro. I'm still packing on. I'm still 205,
Are you? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just these days, I'm a little more shredded.
A little leaner.
Hey, guaranteed, this is one thing that people like to come after me about. It says, hey, you can't spot reduce fat. So you can't tell somebody exercise their face and they're going to get a slimmer face. And it's like, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is put resistance to these muscles that we don't usually work out besides eating. Eat less, maybe because you're satisfying the brain by getting that exercise. Maybe that's why people overeat so much these days, because our diet is so soft and it's full of all these sodiums and stuff that make you salivate, right? So when you have a soft diet, you don't masticate.
Yeah.
I know you feel it.
Uh-huh.
Now that you've been chomping, you see that mastication?
Mm-hmm.
It's game changer, bro. That the amount of saliva you can produce per day, I don't know the exact science behind it, but we need to read some more studies on it, because guarantee that in my mind, that's got to affect your gut health, your stomach acid, your digestion, where I believe a lot of sickness comes from is inflammation, and it all revolves around the gut.
Yeah, they call the gut the second brain. And so if this is something that can support gut health and things like that, you are...
No. You take 13 of the best ingredients of veggies that you can come up with, and you put them in a juicer and you make this super liquid, or you blend it. And it's like, well, wait a sec. So forever, your body thinks when you drink liquid, it's hydration. Do you think you think that quickly we can figure out that with 0 bites, 0 mastication, next to 0 saliva generated, that your body's going to absorb all of the nutrition that you just drank down? Or is it going to say, oh, this is just water from the lake like we're used to for the last million years? We don't adapt that fast, bro.
Wow. That's an interesting take on that, especially when you start thinking about the gut and how like, I mean, probiotics, things like that. I mean, when you can kind of simplify it and get some results from just working on your bite, producing that saliva, man.
Rome, that's all I ever say, man, is I'm just a wouldn't make sense type of guy. We don't make any medical claims. It's just exercise for the face. We have studies. We're doing studies as we speak. We're, we just always want to be clear to the world that everybody, as in any new exercise, should speak with their medical professional and make sure that them personally is ready for this exercise. And that's why we back it with a 60-day, 100% money back guarantee. It's made in the USA. I don't want to go off on a side pitch here, but
I'll pitch it, bro.
It simply is. Yeah. You try Jawzrsize and decide for any reason, there you go. Yeah. This product's not for me. You just gotta cut it in half. Send me a picture of the used Jawzrsize, because we don't take used stuff back. We just cut it in half so we know that you're really done with it, and we give you all your money back, even shipping. Okay, so that's just me. That's my personal guarantee, so people know that, and hey, I'm not, primal side isn't for everybody, bro. I mean, I'll be the first to say it's honestly something you gotta balance it out. I'm a heavy yoga practitioner. I love training. I work the bag. I do it all. But if you get too primal, man, I mean, I almost need to put a warning on the label saying, careful, this might make you too primal.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm glad that I'm just discovering this now, because I mean, I was kind of in my primal state back in college when I was wrestling. And that's when, when you're really training and you're surrounded by those tough individuals and there's like no sensitivity around you at all, you almost get a little too primal, and then you start like going out looking for blood and things like that. Especially when you got so much testosterone around your whole team, you guys go out in a pack of 10.
Oh, 100%,
I know about
bro.
it. I know about
100%. It. And the worst part is, I've been saying this since the beginning of this. Like, if just the world isn't ready for it, bro. The world doesn't have enough. Not everybody can handle going from 0 to hero. You know what I'm saying? Because not to say everybody's zeros, but as far as your strength and your bite, most people have minimal mobility, strength, alignment, size. I mean, look at all the jaws. The jaw is just constantly shrinking with the same amount of genes, so we get the same amount of teeth. So there's this huge overcrowding issue, and then they favor one side, right? Because in my mind, the soft diet is leaving the brain wanting that. Where's my biting, my ripping, my tearing? I hate to relate it to a dog, but we're all animals, And if a dog gets nervous, what's it need? It needs its chew toy. If it doesn't have its chew toy, it soothes it, it relaxes it. And then what's it do? That produces mass saliva. And then, okay, the dog hurts itself. But what's the dog do? It uses that saliva from that primal biting motion to clean its wounds. I'm not suggesting humans start cleaning their wounds with their saliva, but I am saying, isn't it relative?
Sure. I mean, I know that usually if I get a cut on my hand or something, I'll try and clean it out. If I'm like on a hike or something like that, pour some alcohol on it.
That shit out.
Yep. Yeah.
100%. Well, so There's
Yeah.
definitely some. We're just breaking the ice in that whole category. There's so many ways to skin this cat about just how life changing this product is. But the best way to say is it's just exercise for
Yeah.
created off a near death experience, American dream, an American company. I mean, we press hard through USPS and we ship to 160 plus countries.
You gotta love that.
Locked in one of multiple patents that are already pending. We finally got our first one locked in after 4 years. A
Boom.
couple trademarks. We got the new Jawzrsize campaign because it's Jawzrsize is a facial exercise to get you back in touch with your primalness. But the reality is it's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of everything, the right diet. Everybody thinks that it's like this huge, you got to train 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. You got to be on the strictest diet. And I don't think it's that hard. You know what I'm saying? I think it's 20-minute workouts mixed with facial fitness at the same time. At the same time, you're telling your body you're eating while you're taking 0 calories. So, one,
While you're
two,
burning
three,
calories too.
and that's,
Yeah.
we do tests where we watch heart rate monitors and just sitting in the sauna without the Jawzrsize, when we watch how much it spikes when you just sit there and start Jawzrsizing. So how relative is that to say you take a exercise routine and you cut the time frame down by 66%, and then at the same time, perhaps you're doubling the results because you're telling your body you're eating, you're taking 0 calories, you're exercising this primal motion, your face, neck, your head, your brain. Like, I know if you do a PR, I mean, can you not feel like your temporalis lobe, like right here, the frontal cortex? Like, I know when I max out, bro, I take the 50 and I go for like 270, 300 reps, which I don't recommend anybody doing. It's just, I've been doing this a long time. So, but I can just feel my frontal lobe almost gets sore. I mean, it does get sore. It's like I just max my biceps out on a high volume set, basically.
Wow. Just, yeah. That's wild stuff. That's wild
Crazy,
stuff.
bro. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I know that you've seen. I mean, you've seen crazy results from this, from the activation to your lobes to this jaw salivation. Like, and then I've also seen like a lot of like before and after pictures online. And so, what are like other people experiencing from results as well, benefits?
It's the same thing. It's like, holy cow, I didn't believe this would work. And then the key is you have to take your front picture and side picture in the same lighting because you see yourself every day. But this product works in a daily rate. So you wake up the next day and you look a percent better, right? You're not really going to notice it. And then 2 days later, you're 2% better. 3 days later, you're 3%. Okay, a week later, you got up to 7%. 7 to 10% more activation, definition, whatever it is you're going for. And that's when you can see it. And then when you put day 1 next to day 30, don't even look at it in between. Just exercise until you feel like you've got a full exercise. Like, it's kind of hard to explain to people. It's like, hey, you want to start running? It's really good for you. All right, how far do I run? Well, you can't tell everybody how far to run. It's like how you tell me. I mean, this isn't rocket science. Do you feel like you're about to croak, after 1 mile, then stop it before a mile? It's the same thing with the facial exercise. There's 7 resistance levels. There's 2 sizes. We're super excited there's a 33% smaller size the world doesn't even know about of this one. Wow. It's actually, it's being released this month as we speak. So is it made for smaller mouths? Not necessarily, but it's made for a different range of motion, a tighter side of the bite. Does it work better for people with smaller mouths too? 100%. But it's really, what I've got is this 12 packs, full facial fitness gym, essentially, right? There's the light one you warm up with, then it gets stronger. Okay, so now you'll see that people have a real problem these days with mobility as to how far they can open their bite, their jaw, because we shorten our muscle fibers when we clench, you know?
Mhm.
We only bite into a piece of pizza or a hamburger or perhaps an apple.
Yeah.
But we lose. So, you know, where I can put 4 fingers in easily, most people have trouble with 2. And so the smaller size catches you on the tighter side of the bite, closer range to teeth, right? Then when you jump up to the large, it's mid bite, close to teeth. Roman, you gotta hear me out here too on this, because I haven't really explained this to the world. So this is kind of the first time of me trying to figure out how on a wellness show to make it sound well.
Oh, I mean, hey, I'm
100%,
just,
bro.
yeah, let's hear it.
So then boom, then you get up to the boil the fit, right? Well, all of these come in. I keep forgetting where the camera is. All these come in different resistance levels. You know what I'm saying? So the 20 durometer, which is
I got the
surprisingly, is that the 20 you got right there? Super soft.
The 20's here, I believe, and then the heavy one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the soft one is honestly, it's my favorite. It's my go-to. You know, granted, I've got some development in my jaw already, so now it's more. I love it for high volume sets,
Mhm.
static clenches. You know what I'm saying? Like if you sit there with a static clench, as in you know what I'm saying, you wipe down,
Hold it. Yeah, I've been seeing the holds too.
and you sit there and nose breathe, right, and do like a meditation. In my mind, meditation is super hard. I can't do it. I can't sit there and not do anything. But if you tell me to chomp on this, keep it engaged, focus on this, it feels like a supercharger for your meditation practice. And at the same time, it shortens it. You know what I'm saying? Here we are again to, if you can last 3 minutes with a static clench on the 20 durometer, like you're going to feel some stimulation I mean, it's crazy. It's like taking an inversion with a meditative flow and then and then engaging the bite and it's exact, you know, exactly the way it's designed to be engaged. It's like this primal reptile, I don't know, brain, something kicks in that's just like, whoo, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that because I'm a big. I actually meditated 30 minutes right before we hopped on here, and so I'm big with meditation, big with yoga, things like that. I'm definitely gonna try meditation with a bite down, kind of see what that feels like. I'm excited for that one.
Bro, throw on some AOL, the yoga app at the house, right? And pick like a good Brianni Smith's got some good classes. There's a few other Ian Finn's good. But if you get along a class and you take the 20 durometer and then you focus on nose breathing the whole time, because a lot of people try to say, how the hell is someone supposed to breathe? Why don't you put a hole straight through it? Well, this, in my mind, diffuses oxygen on the mouth breath, right? So you're not just taking a big old gulp of air because that, you know, you got to utilize the range of motion and the depth of the lung. But nose breathing is so crucial. You know, I don't.
Oh man, I'm reading a book right now that is it's called The Oxygen Advantage, and it's talking about how mouth breathing is a new phenomenon, and that animals are nose breathing since the beginning of time, and that we have been nose breathing. And it talks about the science behind it, how breathing through your nose creates nitrous oxide for your body, and how it cools down the heat or it temperature regulates the air coming in to better formulate to the body. It's
100%
beyond crazy how like bad mouth breathing is for you. How this guy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, good. I'm glad I heard because you started that statement out, and I thought it was commending mouth breathing, and I was like, oh shit, don't go that way, bro.
Nose breathing.
It's all like I do agree that some mouth breathing does have to be done under, especially under like I have a air regulator. I wish I had it up here, but increase and decrease the increase of the air and the outtake, right? So you can make it hard to exhale, and then I inhale through the nose.
Yeah.
And, or for instance, some of the Wim Hof stuff. You know, I like that guy's stuff. And
Yep.
if you do it for a quick,
I've done his breathing too. Yeah.
quick session, I like it. But more or less, the point I'm getting at is
yeah,
you still get mouth. You're getting a little bit, maybe 20% through the mouth, 30, but it's 70-30 nose mouth in my mind. So when you're training at that, whatever it does for your nitric oxide, like you said,
yeah,
you're oxygenating your muscles, and it's just the perfect amount. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't need a hole in the middle of it, because that would be just would be crazy.
Yeah,
People
no,
crazy.
I'll send you this information on this book because I think it might be something that would really resonate with you if because of how strongly. I mean, this guy's telling you to duct tape your mouth closed when you're going to sleep, so that you can breathe 8 hours and 8 hours at night with your nose.
10 days into taping my mouth shut at night.
Beautiful, man. Hey, then you're right on.
I don't know the science behind it, and I don't recommend anybody go do it unless they talk to their doctor about it or whatever. Because I was a little bit sketched on it, bro, and even some nights still. Because if you're kind of stuffy or whatever, you're like, oh, shit, is this a good idea? But I'm reading a book called Breathe, which I recommend you checking out as well.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, talking about how this breath work has been around since thousands of years ago, but it always kind of gets put on the back burner because it is a supreme key to your health. It's so easy, and you know what I'm saying. There's no business in easy, bro.
Zero. Yeah.
No business.
And so, kind of talking about your journey, I mean, because we kind of have had similar walks, it seems like, just from like wrestling and now kind of into like a wellness kind of atmosphere. You said you're doing yoga and meditating. How long have you been kind of practicing the yoga and the meditation stuff and kind of getting into that mode, that Zen mode?
Okay, so fresh out of the coma, back at action, training. I'm training my ass off, bro. Look, I can't stop training. I was doing a lot of low impact stuff. For instance, like there's a rope machine at the UFC gym on Oahu. I'd be on there for hours, bro. Something about and then I'd be working my homemade prototype too, gnawing, getting the blood stimulation going. Something about I just couldn't stop training, bro. Like my body was in this recovery mode. Maybe this side of my brain was supremely damaged, so it was activating different areas of my brain that I didn't have activated before. There clearly was something going on up there. New neural pathways were being generated. I don't know the exact science on it, but my personal trainer friend, I was like, dude, I can't stop training. Am I overtraining? I can't sleep at night. I can't stop thinking. I'm always thinking, am I never going to be back to normal, basically? And that's when she brought me to go to Core Power with her over on Oahu. She's like, you got to come try some yoga. And dude, I just fell in love with it. It's like I was doing 30-day challenges, multiples in a row. I mean, I'd be doing 300 plus classes a year. And that was right out the gate, bro. Like I guess 7 years ago now, about 7 years I've been on it. And it's so crucial, and it's so important. I just wish the people understood back to how simple it is. You know, if you just get a facial exercise, you relieve that tension in your whatever's going on in your life. You bite, rip it, tear it up. You do a 20-minute flow on an AOL app right in your living room. You don't even have to go to a studio.
Yeah.
Granted, you know, a hot studio and the community and the vibrations and everybody breathing on the same level is super crucial. But at the same time, especially right now with everything going on in the world, that shit ain't available.
Yeah.
So download the app, AOL or ALO, one of the two. It goes right to your Apple TV, and you can pick from the top yoga instructors, in my mind, in the world. So just a great way to it's just a great way to start your day, finish your day. Anytime you start to feel out of balance in life, I go on like this yoga conquering mission. It's like 2-3 classes a day. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm on I'm in paradise, so it's basically like I'm creating my own yoga retreat because I work from home. I I got to set up at the gym too, but we yoga is definitely my go-to. Anybody who has any stressful areas or situations in their life, or just has a heartache, loses somebody, the most detrimental things is when you can go get in touch with your breath to movement, and you can just shut everything off. And I just can't stress that enough. I hope I don't overstress it, but it's serious stuff.
Oh no, I mean, I've had a big kind of transformation just learning how to meditate and learning how to yoga, like, because I really saw like meditation as like getting to that flow state that I used to see in wrestling, that runner's high that I saw when I was running. I
Yep.
got it in a sensory deprivation tank. That's what I wrote when I first saw that like state when I wasn't moving physically, that
Yep.
like that state that you get to, and then I could get to it in my yoga practice and in my meditation. And so there's definitely some levels to kind of, and then now that you're saying it, like getting that brain kind of going with that bite too. I mean, it's all kind of getting to that elevated state where your consciousness is kind of more aligned with everything, and you're kind of take yourself out of the picture.
That's why I feel bad. I haven't stressed enough to the world that because there is crucial things that are involved with getting in touch with your primal side. It's like the balance of the meditation, the yoga, the breathing exercise, whatever it's going to take to reset you. And then it's also, timing your meals right. If you do 5 minutes of exercise on the jaw before you eat, I don't know, are you prepping your stomach? Are you getting an extra 500 bites in before you even start taking bites? That would make sense to me that could be a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just you can't tell your body. I guess what I'm trying to get at is you can't tell your body here comes some food and then not give it food. You know what I'm saying? And kind of I feel like it's the same way. It's vice versa. You can't trigger your body that here comes some food and give it a bunch of nutrients that you just made in a smoothie. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah.
On both sides.
Definitely.
Because you get hangry, bro. Like, I'll be the first to say, I never was the kind of person to get like that, especially being a wrestler. I'm used to not eating, and being a fighter, we cut weight. But when you do the two, you cut weight, which maybe it is good for bodybuilders. You know what I'm saying? They want definition in everywhere on their body, plus they're cutting weight, right? Well, why don't they exercise their muscles in the face because they can't eat? Because there's a satisfaction to the brain. That's why people overeat, because their stomach is way overfilled before their brain is even close to satisfied. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because like when I was cutting weight, I would always chew gum just because I did like the satisfaction of chewing. And then two, I would always use the small silverware so that I could take more bites, because I felt like taking more bites instead of like having a big fork, taking a bunch of stuff on my fork and putting it in my mouth and shoving it in. I would take smaller bites so that I would chew more and I would feel more full afterwards. And so it's funny that you did bring that up, because that was something that I did just not even thinking about it, but it helped me get through my smaller meals, making me feel more full.
Just instinctually, that's great that your body picked that up. And not everybody's in touch with their center, their chakras.
Yeah. And so how have you grown kind of as a business owner? Like since you started Jawzrsize, and like, I mean, you got the patents now, you got all the merch, you're in a gym now. Like, tell me how the Jawzrsize business and yourself have developed over the years.
Oh, let's see here. Sorry, I lost you for a sec. Okay. It's good. Hey, it's been a good journey, man. We started with a Kickstarter August of was it July of 16, and I of course had been pre-hustling it for probably about, honestly, for 2 years. At that point I had been doing patent searches.
Wow.
2 years plus, and looking for not only a concept, something I can massively produce that's safe, that completed the mission that I was after, exercising the face. And then it was how can I get a patent on it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, now I've got this new crazy badass concept that really only I know how badass it is because I'm going haywire on these things, right out the gates when you really experience like, wow, this is freaking nuts. So I'm just high and tight, making everybody sign non-disclosure agreements. I even made my family members sign NDAs. I was just so paranoid about it. And long story short, though, I just realized that you got to take the proper steps. You know what I'm saying? Get the trademarks, get your patent, protect yourself, take care of your customer, and try to keep control of your market, because unfortunately people knock shit off, and if it wasn't something that didn't work, people wouldn't mess with you. So I just like standing my ground and knowing that we're protected, and we have a team that goes after everybody who does infringe on us. But more than anything, I just focus on, there's billions of people out there, and everybody has a mouth, and everybody has a different reason to exercise it. I just have to be the messenger. And if people want to help, more power to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to come after you, and you're going to pay what's due when it's due. But reality is, I really just focus on changing the world and putting the bite back in humanity is all I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not even a good idea. You see how crazy everybody's being this year? Maybe everybody needs to stick to straws and cotton candy, because
straws and cotton candy. Yeah, I like that. Putting the bite back into society, man. That's a nice kind of pledge that you have. And I mean, I think you're doing a great job. I mean, the product, I was even very surprised on how well this fit in my mouth with the no, like without having the normal, like my bite. I mean, this fits
yes.
like a damn glove in my mouth. And I was like, and I was very surprised. I was like, and like I mentioned, I'm like 6-7 days in, and I've done it. Like I think the second day I took off because I read the directions and it said to, and then after that I've kind of just been staying on, just at my desk when I'm working, just biting down on it. But I had felt I have felt more aligned, especially right after I do a set. And so I was like, it's going to take time for my jaw to stay aligned, but I mean, you're on a good product. And if people are experiencing what I'm experiencing, what you're experiencing, I mean, something's going on. So you're doing something right. And so I'm glad that you're continuing to push, man, because this is some cool stuff that you're sharing with the world.
Cool stuff, Roman. I'm glad you like the fitting. We spent a lot of time. We had our own 3D printer machine. We made just tons and tons of prototypes. Actually, one of the jars of them is up there behind me. But it's just all of this is exciting stuff, and I can't wait to really see what the future of it holds. Because is it all relative to amnesia and all these cognitive functions that are happening at earlier stages in lives, from aspiration pneumonia and weak swallowing muscles? Is it all relative to a weak bite? I mean, it's to be determined. It's to be determined, I guess. Right now we're not a medical device. We're just an exercise piece of equipment. And can exercise do stuff medically for you? I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, well, you've been on this mission for a long time, and I don't see it ending anytime soon. And so I'm excited to kind of see what does continue to come and how many people you can help with this venture. It's pretty cool experiencing, and it's pretty cool talking to you about it, because I can feel the passion behind it. I mean, it's like you can see it. I can see it in your face.
Oh yes.
And then it's like when you talk about it, it brings another level of intensity to it. And so I know that like this is something that's going to be around for a long time and continue to grow.
It is, Roman, and you're going to be one of the first. I've only done a few podcasts, bro. So thank you for seeing the vision. And I just more than anything, I only deal with people who've tried the product. It's not you don't know what it's about until you try it, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I try to convince people for years and years how now that I can show them, it's like try it and then let's stop, because you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roman, you get it.
And so for the people that are listening, where can they find you and Jawzrsize online and on social media?
Okay, check us out on Instagram is where we go mostly. It's Jawzrsize. We've got a YouTube channel that we don't give as much love as we should, but we're working on that. There's a Jawzr beauty page, and then also, as I said, there's the Jawzr Life. This is the new type of branding, right? So I've got a face pump, which is a niacin beet extract blend with vitamin A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12. I mean, it's loaded with vitamins, no caffeine, and the nitric oxide, whatever the release you get from the beet extract is just, it's an amazing asset to your facial exercise. And,
wonderful.
Yeah, Jawzrsize.com, of course, is the best place, the best way to get directly in touch with us. And we're also worldwide on Amazon Prime. So there's a couple options there.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Do you have any last words for the audience, Brandon?
Hey, all I wanted to do is thank everybody for listening. Take it for what it's worth. You know, we're not medically proven. We don't make any medical claims. This is simply exercise for your TMJ, for the human bite. Get back in touch with your primal side, and just stay healthy. Everybody's got to focus, especially during these crazy times, on letting your body work and do its thing, and not letting your mind slow it down. So love and aloha from Maui, Hawaii, and thank you all for listening.
Hey, thank you for sharing, Brandon. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.